the best passing big man of his generation. A three-time All-Star once compared to LeBron James, spent this entire NBA season doing nothing. No team, no comeback, no basketball at all. Instead, he bought a professional fishing team. That is not a joke. This is the story of the strangest superstar collapse in modern sports. The dunk he wouldn't take, the city that never forgave him, the body that betrayed him, and the question that still splits every locker room in the league. Was it his back or was it his mind? By the end of this video, you'll see the exact moment it all broke. First, understand how high the ceiling was, because the fall means nothing without it. Number 1 overall pick, Rookie of the Year. By his third season, a 6-foot 10-point guard averaging a near triple-double. An all-star running an offense like a quarterback with a 7-foot wingspan. Defensively, he could guard all 5 positions, and did. 3 all-star teams, all defensive first team. The comparisons weren't to good players. They were to Magic Johnson and to LeBron. Philadelphia believed, genuinely, that they had the next face of the league. And for 3 years, nothing about that was crazy. And every summer, the machine tried to fix the one thing that was missing. This is the part people forget. He wasn't ignoring it. Clips would surface in July. Simmons in an empty gym, alone with a trainer, form looking clean, the ball going in. The organization brought in shooting coaches. Teammates said the work was real. And then October would come. The lights would come on. And the shot would stay in the gym. That gap between the empty gym and the arena is the whole story of his career. He could make it standing still, with nobody guarding him. He could not make himself take it when it counted. In 3 full seasons at his peak, he attempted fewer three-pointers than most starters attempt in a week. It was never a mechanics problem. Mechanics you can rebuild in a summer. What he had was a decision problem, and there is no drill for that. But there was a crack in the foundation, and everyone could see it. He would not shoot, not badly. He simply would not. Wide open threes, declined. 15-footers, passed up. Season after season, the most gifted playmaker of his class attempted almost nothing outside the paint. And in the playoffs, defenses stopped pretending. They sagged off him like he wasn't there, packed the lane, and dared the best athlete on the floor to do the one thing he wouldn't. A superstar with a phobia, in a league that hunts fear for a living. June 20th, 2021. Game 7, Eastern Conference Semifinals, Atlanta. 4th quarter. Sixers down 2. Simmons catches the ball moving downhill, 3 feet from the rim, a highway to the basket, and the smallest defender on the floor nearby. Every basketball instinct on earth says dunk it. He passes, out of the paint, to a covered teammate. The possession dies. Philadelphia loses the game and the series. 1 pass, 3 feet, and a career splits into before and after. Watch it again in slow motion. You can see the exact moment a player stops trusting himself. What happened next was an execution in public. His own coach asked if Simmons could be the point guard of a championship team, paused, and said, "I don't know." His own co-star shrugged that the season turned on that pass. Talk radio in the meanest sports city in America made him the villain of the decade. Within weeks, he told the franchise he would never play for them again. The number 1 pick, the future of the league, requesting out, not over money, over a moment. And here is the number that turned a slump into an institutional disaster. 2 summers before the pass, Philadelphia had made its choice. A 5-year maximum extension worth roughly $170 million. Not a bet on the shot arriving. A bet that everything else was enough. Understand what that does to a franchise. A max contract is not just money. It is a commitment device. It ends the argument about who you are building around, and it removes the exit. So when the relationship collapsed months later, Philadelphia was not free to move on cleanly. They were holding a max salary player who would not play in a league where a max salary must be matched almost dollar for dollar in any trade. The asking price stayed enormous because the contract said it had to. And the standoff that followed, fines, withheld game checks, a season of nothing, was not really about a bad playoff series. It was about $170 million neither side could walk away from. The holdout that followed was one of the ugliest standoffs the league has seen. He refused to report. The team fined him millions. He showed up, got thrown out of practice for refusing to participate, and was suspended by his own franchise. And then came the part nobody had language for. He told the team he wasn't mentally ready to play. The league's toughest city heard mental health and heard an excuse. A lot of the country heard it and heard a young man drowning. Both audiences watched the same press conferences. Neither blinked. Then the body joined the collapse. A herniated disc in his back. Surgery. A return that never looked right. And then a nerve impingement that stole the one thing that made everything else possible. The burst. The player built on being faster and stronger than everyone suddenly wasn't. Brooklyn got a shell. The stat lines read like a different person wearing his jersey. 6 points here, 4 points there. A max contract playing minimum basketball. By the time the deal expired, the debate had flipped entirely. Not, can he be a star again, but can he stay on a floor at all? Brooklyn did try. Give them that. When it became obvious the guard everyone drafted was gone, they went looking for a different player inside the same body. They ran him as a small ball center, put the 6'10" passer at the rim, let him screen and roll and defend the middle of the floor, and hide the shooting problem behind a position where nobody shoots. And for stretches, it flickered. A game where the passing looked exactly like it used to. A defensive night where he switched onto a guard and swallowed him whole. Every one of those nights restarted the conversation. Maybe this is the version that works. But a flicker is not a career. The back would go again. The nerve would go again. The minutes would shrink. Then a buyout. A short stint with a contender out west and a quiet end to the season. Each experiment answered the same way. The talent was still in there. The body could no longer keep it on the floor. The last act was a slow fade. A buyout. A short stint as a role player in Los Angeles. Playing hard, shooting never, respectable, and invisible. Then free agency came, and the phone just didn't ring the way it used to. No announcement, no retirement, just a season that started without him and kept going. A 3-time All-Star, still in his athletic prime years, unsigned, unretired, unresolved. Which brings us to the fishing team. This season, while the league played on without him, Simmons became the controlling owner of a professional sport fishing franchise, the South Florida Sails. And by every account, he's all in on it. And look, on one level, good for him. Peace is allowed. But step back and feel how surreal it is. An athlete who at 23 was compared to Magic Johnson spent his age 29 season competitively fishing. There is no better image for how completely basketball and Ben Simmons broke up. And if this feels like a uniquely strange story, it isn't. Sport has a graveyard for this exact injury, the one that leaves the body intact and takes the certainty. Philadelphia had already lived it. The #1 pick immediately before their run with Simmons was Markelle Fultz, a guard whose shooting form disintegrated in front of a city. A mystery of shoulder, nerve, and confidence that no one could ever fully separate. Baseball has a whole vocabulary for it. Second basemen who suddenly could not make a routine throw, pitchers who lost the plate overnight and never found it. Golf has the putting yips. In every case, the pattern is the same. The skill does not decay. It vanishes cleanly, while everything around it stays world-class. That is what makes it unbearable to watch and impossible to coach. And it is why "he just needs to practice more" was always the least useful sentence anyone said about Ben Simmons. So, what actually happened? Here's the honest answer. 3 collapses stacked. A skill collapse. The shot that never came, in a league that stopped allowing hiding places. A psychological collapse. Performance anxiety in the loudest arena in sports, punished instead of treated. And a physical collapse. A back that took away the escape hatch of pure athleticism. Any one of those, a career survives. 2, maybe. All 3. In Philadelphia, in the social media era. That's how you get the strangest disappearance in NBA history. And yet, this story might have one chapter left. He's hinted at a comeback, says he still wants to compete at the highest level, has even flirted publicly with the idea of joining a contender. He's 30. The passing never left. The defense never left. Somewhere in the league right now, a front office is running the math on a minimum contract, 0 risk, and the ghost of a top 5 talent. The prophecy, on the record, someone signs him this season. He plays real minutes for a playoff team, and every single broadcast says the word redemption within 10 seconds of his first assist. And the shot? The shot is never coming back. That part of the story is over. 1 pass, 3 feet from the rim. Everything after followed from a single moment of doubt. And that's what makes this bigger than basketball. Everyone watching this has passed up their version of that dunk. So here's the question for the comments. And be honest, was Ben Simmons broken by Philadelphia? Or was he always going to break? Pick a side, defend it, and subscribe. Because if that comeback happens, we're covering every minute of it and grading our prophecy on camera. The greatest passer of his generation has one decision left. Let's see if he takes the shot.